not just Minneapolis media, but we got people from the Los Angeles Times here, we got people from the New York Times here, so they know this story, and you're getting it first, Georgia, this story really could blow up in a way that we can't even fathom. Calvin Horton Life Matters. Calvin Horton Life Matters. I am the lead attorney for the family of George Floyd. I think all of the world knows about George Floyd. But then I get this call into my office from this young lady, Khadijah Horton, who says her father was protesting for justice for George Floyd 2 days after his death, and a white business owner shot and killed him from inside his store, shooting out into the crowd of protesters. And so she said, it's almost as if everybody's paying attention to George Floyd and nobody's paying attention to my father. His life mattered too.
I just want to say we're absolutely heartbroken at the fact that the man who was able to shoot my dad in his back and kill him is still free. We want justice for my dad, and we aren't going to stop until we see it.
Amen. Then when I thought about it, I said, hold on, a business owner shoot from inside the store outside into protesters, man, that is not right. There is no way, Georgia, that can happen if it was another group of people. But I guess because this was a black man protesting for George Floyd, they said, it's not that big of a deal. And I said, I'll help. And so I'm here in Minneapolis today to demand justice for Calvin Horton, because Calvin Horton life matters too. We are reminded over and over again that there seems to be two justice systems in America.
That's right.
One for black America and one for white America.
Listen.
Can you talk about some of the discrepancies that you found in looking at this case?
I found three very important discrepancies. Number one, you just have the notion that a business owner is inside his store and he shoots out into the crowd and he kills a man. We believe, based on all relevant evidence, he shoots him in the back. And the fact that nobody was even arrested and charged is the biggest discrepancy when you really get down to the crux of the matter. But then you find, as you dig a little deeper, even more just ironic things. I mean, things that will shock your conscience. The medical examiner says that he died from multiple shots into his chest. However, we got video. I mean, objective video that has ocular proof that there are no injuries to his chest. So why would the medical examiner then put out such a report unless they're trying to conspire to cover something up? And why would they do that is what the family is asking. I know the Black Lives Matter leader said it's the art of the cover-up here in Minneapolis when black people and brown people are killed by white people. And so we're here to try to say you at least have to give this family, especially those 7 beautiful little black children, answers as to why you are not going to prosecute the killer of their father, who was simply in the protest demanding justice for George Floyd, and now we're demanding justice for Calvin Horton. And the third discrepancy, which is huge, is just the fact that it seems like when people of color start protesting, exercising our First Amendment rights to peaceful assembly and freedom of speech, saying that Black Lives Matter, I mean, it's like it's a different set of rules where pepper spray, they shoot rubber bullets, and then in Calvin Horton's case, they even shoot you and kill you. But when you juxtapose that with the militia in Michigan that went into the state house with guns and automatic rifles, semi-automatic rifles, nobody shot them with pepper spray. Nobody shot them with rubber bullets. And none of them were killed. And the police protected them. But then in George Floyd protests, it's like the police said, oh, we can't do nothing. You know, we're not getting involved because there were police on the scene when Calvin Horton was killed. And you're like, well, why didn't y'all be proactive? And why is it that it's almost as if black people don't have a right to the First Amendment with being subjugated to excessive force and brutality?
Can you share what your involvement in this case how it's already impacted the police's involvement and how they're actually now taking this case serious?
In every case I get involved with, I always want to try to, not just by word but by deed, send a message to our children that we do believe Black Lives Matter and that we say that their future is the most important thing to us. It's real. And so immediately what I started doing when I got here with attorney Jeff Storms and attorney Jill Brinsbros, I literally said, y'all, we have to make the argument to the court of public opinion, not just for Minneapolis, but for America. Because the precedents that could be set by this case, if we don't speak truth to power and give a voice to the voiceless, man, can you imagine all the protests going on across America for my clients, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery? And if business owners started to just shoot indiscriminately into crowds, killing people, and they say, oh, because one or two people may have rioted, that gives you justification to shoot innocent people? What kind of precedence would that be? What kind of America would that be? Because there's a larger conversation here, even greater than just the death of Calvin Horton. I mean, this is talking about the First Amendment rights, the very foundation, the bedrock of American democracy.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for your work, for your commitment to fighting for justice, for our country, for our people, for our children. And I want to thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. You have a little one.
I have 3.
3 little ones.
12, 2, and 1.
So you understand why we're fighting.
I do.
And I'm praying for their future.
Thank you.